Welcome back. Just before the break, we were talking about the incidents in India and the atrocities conducted and perpetrated on innocent Muslims, unarmed Muslims, you see. Whenever we talk about India, we talk about a country, large country, where there is peace and tranquility, and then we think about, oh, it's such a vast country, you can't have everything there, right, see. But they have a very powerful governments right now, run by a very powerful, so-called powerful leader. Recently, the leader of the free world, Mr. Donald Trump, was there, and the entire focus was on the capital, where the ruling BJP has recently lost an election. See. In an editorial very recently, The Guardian wrote, they are the killings of Muslims in India. They are the latest step along India's path away from its founding ideals of pluralism and equality towards intolerance and hate. Now, sir, we were talking about Assam and the CAA, the Citizenship Amendment Act, and also they are going to single out which Muslim, Bangladeshi origin Muslim migrant, he has been here for maybe for 20 years, 30 years, he has to be sent back. And I think Amit Shah talked in very derogatory terms about those people, and they call them termites, and they should be thrown back into Bay of Bengal. See.
Yes, this is
that
very
kind of leadership India is proud about.
This is very unfortunate because you see, you had an Indian president, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed from Assam.
Yes. You also had Vice President Justice Hidayat.
Yes, from Assam. I'm talking about Mr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed in a different sense, in the sense his grandson was put in that list and refused his Aadhaar card and PAN card, which is something with like nationality.
ID,
You see, so again, you're talking about people who've been Indian, not only that, head of state. However, I don't think they ever came near Bangladesh. They were Assamese Muslims from the 19th century. And now, if you, point your fingers, I don't think too many people have really gone from what is Bangladesh, or prior to that, what was East Pakistan. The reason was that I don't think the West could have been interesting. The Middle East could have been interesting for job opportunities. I don't think there was any job opportunity
in Assam,
for people or West Bengal or others to work there. Even if we take the last year's consensus, they say Muslims are about census. They say Muslims are about 17%, in reality about 20%. But if you see in the last 6 years, there are 5 or 6% in the central services of India. You see, and your name gives you away. In the Viva voce, you're given very low marks deliberately. You can't make it into these spots where prior governments showed a kind of, parity in the sense that there were, if you are 17%, there was a close to about 17% representation. And if you look into, say, states like West Bengal, you will find some provincial Muslim representation. Also in the police, you'll find them in civil service and others. But there's somehow a dominance everywhere, and I don't think Muslims in India post 47 have ever been in complete ease. They've left a quiet, reclusive life.
True.
I don't think they ever joined the mainstream anywhere, and accepted things in a very fatalistic angle. You know, the last recourse being Allah. And that's how they sort of moved on. There are places where there were a lot of Muslim influences, like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. But over the years,
even Delhi, if you see
Delhi.
that particular kind of enclave called Nizamuddin, if you see the plight of the Muslims living there, it's intolerable. You see, if you look at the restaurant there and the houses there, yeah, it attracts a lot of people coming there. That probably provides some revenue, but the condition they live in is terrible.
it is, because you see they're sort of in colonies, which are these mohallas. If you see, not only, you see there's still huts.
Yeah.
What we call in the subcontinent bastis.
Yeah.
This is where the Muslims stay, and the person there is probably driving a scooter,
Yeah.
or he is got a rickshawala,
Yeah, or a driver.
or a driver, or something. I don't think, I'm talking about low-grade jobs.
Right.
These are the people who work very hard in India, toil,
Yeah.
somehow make a living.
Yes.
But they don't know what the future holds. I'll give you an example of people who sort of were working in the Middle East from India. And after the Citizens Amendment Act, every 2 years they have a holiday period of a month or 2 months back in
Yeah.
India.
Or every year.
Every year. Now their passports are not being renewed.
Yeah.
You see, the Citizens Amendment Act has been put into force, and these people had passports.
Of course they have.
It's not that a new applicant hasn't tried, because he understands it will be a futile effort.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about people who already had passports, and they've just gone for renewal. For some strange reason, this travel document is not given to them. In
you
other
know
words, it's a loss of a job.
On the contrary, there are hundreds and thousands of Indians of other religious beliefs, working in the Middle East, and nobody asks a question. See, they are there. They are there for 20 years, 25 years, holding very important positions.
Absolutely.
Some of the multinationals, they have posted their Indian CEOs in Dubai, in Sharjah, in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia. They're not Muslims, but from India.
Yes. This is true. This has not only happened in the Middle East, in the Gulf states predominantly, but in the last 10 years, if you look into Bangladesh, they've taken over as well.
Yeah.
The BOI has a record of over 150,000 Indians on work permit
Yeah.
in Bangladesh.
And
Mind
probably
you-
there are much more without work permits.
And
there.
much more without work permits, in the sense these are people who just cross the border.
Yeah.
But they sort of add to your garments, in the
Yeah.
sense now garments does not only mean shirts, trousers and coats, but subcontinental wears,
Yeah.
or Lucknow chicken kurtas,
Yes, yes.
Punjabis, pajamas, and a lot of other things that have come in, and so on and so forth. So they're working on things like that. And again, on the traditional holidays like Eid-ul Fitr and Eid-ul Adha, they go back to their roots in West Bengal and so on and so forth. So they are also making a living and so on and so forth. And we have no objection for two reasons. First of all, India is big brother. Number two, they actually contribute to the economy as such. You see,
Sure.
that helps Bangladesh's exports to various places, including the Middle East and back to India.
We were talking about the CAA, and in the long term, what do you think? I mean, the people in Assam, there will be, that it is said that about 4 million people will be turned out of Assam and other regions to Bangladesh because there will be no other country that will accept them because they are Muslims. See, you think that will definitely happen? And if that happens at all, see, will we be able to maintain the same sort of so-called friendly relationship with India?
I don't think there's perhaps anything immediate. But let me explain what a Citizens Amendment Act was.
Yeah.
The Citizens Amendment Act is an act passed by both houses in Parliament, oddly enough by some Muslim collaboration, because the BJP does not hold the upper house,
Right.
Rajya Sabha, with a majority. It's only in the Lok Sabha that they have a majority. And the strategy of getting a majority in the Lok Sabha is in every area, in every sort of constituency, the Hindus should be a majority. So if you're 60%, 51% is my vote.
Yeah.
This is the expectation. And the others can have what they like. The Congress had its own failing in the last elections in the sense that they did not bring in a broad alliance which they needed, and this was another reason. But as we were discussing, the Citizens Amendment Act was an act saying that anyone claiming or being of Indian origin can claim nationality,
Right.
except Muslims. How can you make an exception like that?
No constitution allows such
things in Gandhi's India, in the founding fathers, in the concept of India, and so on and so forth. It wasn't only pushing people from Assam back to Bangladesh, or of people of Meghalaya back to northern part of Bangladesh. I think there was a move to push people in the western part, UP and beyond, to Pakistan. This was the concept. I don't think the present leaders want Akhund Bharat. Akhund Bharat meaning an united India, which was a pan-India.
Yeah, starting from Burma to
the frontier,
Yeah.
right to Khyber Pass. That would mean, can you imagine, that would mean 450 million Muslims. That makes us 1/3 of a very populous country. And mind you, India, as I pointed out, is the biggest by population Muslim country in the world. In their own census, they're saying 200 million plus. Muslims say we are 230 million. So, no country, second comes Indonesia, and Pakistan and Bangladesh for the third place. I don't know which is more. But the population of, as a Muslim country, India comes first. In the last Hajj.
And that is how they are
in the
OIC.
Yes, in the last Hajj, you know, every country has a quota.
Yeah.
India had the highest. And this was the demand already enough by India's Home Minister in 1984, Mr. Narasimha Rao, who was also Prime Minister, but later he joined the OIC and put these facts and figures.
Okay, sir, we need to take a break, and we have to leave Mr. Narasimha Rao there. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back soon after this very short break. Don't go away. Thank you.